Path of Exile 2 may be having a ton of issues in its very first day of early access, but running on Steam Deck is not one of them. Okay, we do still dip under the 30 frames per second mark with the settings I'm going to be recommending, but it's very brief, and unless you're watching that frames per second counter, you really aren't going to notice a difference, especially when you're surrounded by hordes of enemies. And as you can see, I did choose the Witch for the Necromancer, with lots of minions to make things a bit more interesting. In town we do dip under the 30 very briefly again with some of the loading spikes, but this might get a little bit worse later on when there's a lot more people in game. I have gone with the XeSS balance option here at 800p, VSync off with full screen mode. Do make sure that you turn off the dynamic resolution because it makes this game look absolutely awful. Can run this with high quality textures, but I'm just going to drop it down to medium to gain just a couple of extra frames per second. That's all it's going to gain. Make sure that lighting is on shadows only, with shadow quality on low. Everything else can sit up at high. Target frame rate, you can drop it down if you want, but we do want to push up to 60 in the areas that we can get, which is generally in some of the instance dungeons, and turn the performance metrics graphs off. You may notice that the graph is actually showing up. That always happens with the options menu. It's a little bit confusing, but if you do turn it off here, when you close the options menu, the graph does disappear. To get to the XeSS balance mode, you will need to change the renderer to DirectX 12. By default, it's on Vulkan, and it won't let you turn on XeSS balanced. Just for a quick demonstration, I'm going to put on FSR quality mode. Doesn't actually make a lot of difference on the quality side. Arguably, it does look actually a little bit cleaner on this one, but I do still favor XeSS in general. And for some of the effects later on, XeSS definitely still performs that a little bit better. FSR doesn't really gain anything on the performance front with this game, so it is going to be a matter of personal preference, and I'm going to stick with XeSS on balanced for the rest of this video. So if I go back to the stage 5 area of the Red Veil, which is a little bit more graphically intense in these areas, you can see that even with all these monsters and my minions running around, the tree effects, the smoke effects, the lightning effects, we're still pushing over 30 frames per second for the most part. So if you do want a super stable experience, you can cap this at 30 and have an absolutely great time, or 40 if you want just a bit more stability, or just leave it uncapped as I have to get the best out of both worlds. This is only the first day of early access, and they have been marred with major login problems and huge queues, as currently there's over 400,000 players in game for early access. That is absolutely insane. Apparently they've already sold over 1 million early access keys, so you can expect this to be updated and get many more patches very soon. But so far, it's a great start on Steam Deck, and I can't wait to play a bit more Path of Exile 2 and keep you updated as those updates come. Let us know in the comments below if you're diving in and what class you're picking. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.